Hey everybody, my name is Lisa and I'm with Lisa Marie Accounting. I'm also known as the Sassy Southern Accountant, and I'm so happy to be here with y'all to talk to y'all about how to take the chaos out of your numbers. Just a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Lisa. I'm a mom of two beautiful girls, ages 13 and 5, and I am married to my husband going on 18 years. And I really know the importance of numbers, and I make it my passion to help entrepreneurs because I don't want them to have to depend on the corporate world. So I think it's really important for us all to know our numbers inside and out and have them all organized so that it's less chaotic and we can actually concentrate on our business the way we love it, what we love to do. So that being said, I'm going to get started. The first tip I want to give you, or task I want to talk about, is those receipts. And I know everybody's probably rolling their eyes because they can't stand the receipts. They're probably piled up somewhere in a virtual shoebox or an actual shoebox or scattered all over your desk. But they're really important because even if whether you're in Canada or in the United States, the CRA nor the IRS will accept just your bank statement, your credit card statement, or the information you have in your software as backup. So if you were to ever get audited and that's all you had, excuse my language, but you'd be screwed. That's just putting it bluntly. You have to have proof, whether it's a coach, website design, office supplies, um, website software, whatever. You have to have proof of that cost in order for it to have substantial proof, in order for you to count it as a deduction. Now, it's very easy. Most websites, like your software, Dropbox, Buffer, etc., if they haven't sent it to you, you can go to your website, log in, and you can get one. I recommend going in, getting it, saving it as a PDF. Um, can't save it as a JPEG file because the IRS nor the CRA will accept that as backup, but I suggest saving it as a PDF. And what I tell my clients to do, which is really simple, save it as a PDF, put it in a Dropbox, Google Drive, whatever online storage you want to use, and save it with the vendor name, and then a dash, and then the date. That does two things. One, you know what month you paid it, so it's easy to find if you ever need it, whether you're audited or you just need to find the receipt. And two, it puts it alphabetically, basically by the vendor name, which makes it even that much easier to find. So those are really important. Now, the loose receipts that are scattered all over your desk, for out to eat, going and getting office supplies, those thermal receipts, no worries. The best thing to do is take them, get them, organize them in front of you, go to your phone and download the app called Cam Scanner. That's CAM as in Mary Scanner. I absolutely love this app. I talk to my clients about it and to my group, my peeps in my group about it, constantly. I don't think I've I don't ever talk about the importance of saving receipts because I can't stress it enough. But the app is really easy. You just pull up the app and you take a picture of the receipt with the app, and then you save it and you convert it to a PDF, and you say you want to move it to your Dropbox folder or email it or wherever you want to do with it. I have some clients who email it to us, and we take care of saving it and putting it in a folder, because we organize it by categories, etc. Now, some of you are going, well, why can't I just take a picture with my phone? Well, one big reason. Your phone camera only puts it as a JPEG file. And so although it looks like you can read it when you take that picture through your phone, when you actually go to print it or save it and like blow it up so you can actually read it, it becomes very distorted. And again, the IRS nor the CRA will accept it. It's really important to go ahead and save it as a PDF. And that does two things. One, it makes it a legible copy so that you have it. And two, once you've done that and you've saved it, guess what you get to do with all those loose receipts everywhere? Throw them away, trash them, shred them, whatever you want to do. You don't have to keep them unless you want to. Me being OCD, I keep a paper sorted file and on cloud storage. And then after I've prepared my business return and the 3 years have passed, then I shred those, but I always have my cloud. But I tell my clients, you don't have to keep the paper. That's up to you. But if you're going to keep the paper, then organize it. And what I do is, I don't know if you can see this, is I went to Office Depot, got one of these, and if you open it, you can see how it's got the months: January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Very simple. For the month of January, I have this receipt where I renewed my tax prepare stuff so that I can prepare tax returns. It's saved in the cloud, and then I also go and put it in the tab for February. And then what I do also is I have these envelopes, mailing envelopes. I keep the little tabs on them so I don't seal them. And after I take a picture of all the meal receipts and office supply receipts, and I save them as a PDF, they go in here. And again, you don't have to do that. That's entirely up to you. I wouldn't suggest just keeping the paper, and the reason why is if you're used to the thermal receipts, these thermal receipts right here, we all know what happens to these after a while. They fade, and when they fade, they're unreadable. And if they're unreadable, the IRS and the CRA, so it doesn't matter if you're in Canada or the US, they're not going to take it. They're not going to accept it. If they can't read who the vendor is, they can't read the date, and they can't read what it is that you bought, or the meal or whatever, and the total, it will be ineligible. And if you claimed it, then they're going to charge it back to you, and that's when you're going to start owing them money. So I always suggest taking a picture with a cam scanner and converting it to PDF, because in that way you have a permanent copy before it's faded. I keep these just in case I need to fall back on them, and then when I prepare the return, I trash these. I don't keep these. But again, I have them in here just in case I need to fall back or see something, or etc. So I keep it both. But that's entirely up to you. The important thing that I can't stress enough about is organize it somehow, and have it to where it's consistent. Again, I can't stress enough to organize it, and I honestly believe the cloud is the best way because it's permanent, it's there, you're less likely to lose it. If you're not organized enough to keep it both ways, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't try to keep it paper. If you know you're not going to keep up with it. Do those 2 steps. Make a picture of it. Save it as a PDF. If you got it in your email, go and hit print. Print it as a PDF, or save it as a PDF, that email receipt, and then move it to a Dropbox. And again, like I said, when you do, save it as the vendor name. So say, for example, the vendor's Buffer. You would save it as Buffer dash and then the date. And that, like I said, that does 2 things. That gives you, it's organized, and it gives you the dates that they're paid, especially if you do it every month. Buffer's paid every month, so you want those dates each month so that you can see, you can find each month's receipts. If you want more information on how CamScanner works, please feel free to ask me some questions. I go into a lot more detail about it. It's really pretty simple once you know the step-by-step directions, and I do go into those directions a lot with my group and all, and I'll give you that information on how you can check me out and come over there if you'd like to have some more tips. But you can also, please feel free to ask me questions about it and I'll answer them. I'm not going to go into real depth now because like I said, I go into very detailed step-by-step one, to show how easy it is, and to make sure you find it easier to do it, so that you'll, in the end, you'll actually use it. So there is that. The second thing, and I'm gonna, again, this is something else I can't stress: know your costs and your income. And I know many entrepreneurs, when they first start, they start commingling funds. Stop. That's the only thing I can tell you. Stop. No more commingling. Go ahead, stop what you're doing, go and open up a separate bank account just for your business. Have all your business money only funneled through that account. No personal money. Don't commingle them anymore. It makes it less chaotic when it comes tax time. So you know for sure what are business expenses, what's business income. And if you're ever audited, it helps you with the CRA or the IRS, because you don't have funds mixed up and you're going, okay, well, no, that's personal, no, that's business. I don't know how the CRA is as far as when that happens. I do know what the IRS will do. The IRS could come and say, nope, you've got all this funds together. If you're saying this is personal and you can't show me this is business, I'm null and voiding all of it. Or they could come and say, nope, you can't claim these as expenses because you can't show me where this is business and this is personal. I'm null and voiding it. And so if they do that, you're either going to have to claim more income, because they're going to make you claim all of it, whether it was personal money or business money, or they're going to null and void all your certain ones of your expenses, and again, you're going to owe them money. So save yourself the time, the headache. Go open up a separate account. It's really simple. It'll whatever process you'd have to go through now, I promise it'll be worth it in the end, because you're going to be sure of what money you have for your business, where your expenses are going. And that brings me to my second thing: is don't know just your total cost. Like, I had someone yesterday tell me, well, I made $50,000. My total cost was $30,000. So I netted 20. Okay, well, where was that 30,000 spent? I don't know. Okay, I just know it totaled 30. Okay, well, how much was spent on advertising? How much was spent website design? How much was spent on coaching? I don't know. Know your numbers. It's great that you know your total cost, but it's even more important to actually know where that money went. Know that 10,000 went to coaching. Know that 200 went to office supplies, and that 5,000 went to website design or whatever. Know it. And the way you know it, the easiest way to do it is, of course, to put your books in a software. Not everybody is ready to put your books in a software, so I get it. I can recommend several softwares. I recommend online softwares, of course. But if you're not ready, then just create a spreadsheet. A simple spreadsheet. What I suggest is making a spreadsheet with your columns over here, and then like your months across. Excuse me. And your categories are going to be advertising, continuing education, coaching, office supplies, software, etc. And you're going to put them down, and then get your bank statements. If you're not in the software, you won't have to do this if you are, but get your bank statements, your receipts, and make sure you're not forgetting any of them. Make sure you've caught them all, and then put all those expenses in those categories, and do this each week, each month, but put them in there, totaling them up. And then if you set it up, the spreadsheet, to total at the bottom of each of those rows, then or columns, excuse me, then you'll have your total for the month, which is what you want, and then your total at the year. But not only that, then you'll know 2,000 went to advertising, or holy cow, I spent $7,000 in advertising. Why in the world did I do that? And you're able to make adjustments because you see where your money went. You're like, no, I didn't mean to spend that much money. You're able to make those adjustments and be able to more wisely spend your money because you know where those costs went. And the same thing is with your income. If you have several different packages, divide it up and say, okay, this came from my online mastermind, this came from my membership site, and this came from one-on-one. So know where it came from, so that you know what's working. Sorry, my screen went out. So that you know what's working and what's not. And I bet money you will be surprised when you get done with it on where some of that money went. 9 out of 10 times, one of those categories, you've either spent more money than what you thought or less than you thought. I pretty much guarantee it. Now, like I said, the spreadsheet's really easy to save or to create. I do recommend putting it in a software. I'm an accountant. I'm going to recommend that. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you a headache. And it'll be a lot easier to keep up with because you just go into the software and you set up the categories. You know, the expenses, majority of the expenses are already there. But like I said, I know some people aren't ready to make that investment. They don't want to deal with the numbers themselves as far as the software, and they're not to that point to where they can make that investment in an accountant or bookkeeper, etc. And so I get it. I've been there. Excuse me. So I understand. But do one or the other. I'm happy to help you any way I can. I'll answer questions. I can make suggestions, but I cannot reiterate enough. Go get you a separate account and go and set up the spreadsheet or do a software and get it set up. Yeah, it'll take a few steps in the process and might be a small headache to get it set up at first. Right now would actually be the time to do it because you're just in February, so you only have like a month and a half that you have to get into a software. So if you're going to set up a software and set your books up in a software, now is the time, I promise. It's a lot easier now than saying, oh, well, I'll just wait until I'm starting making money and July or August. Well, then that time you've got 6, 7, 8 months that you've got to put in a software. And it doesn't matter whether you're making money, if you've had expenses that entire time, that's that many more transactions that have got to be put in there. And all of us accountants, including me, we charge more money because the more transactions you have, the more months you have, the longer it takes to get it set up and get everything right, make sure everything reconciles. So it's going to cost you more. So that's just something to take into consideration when you're thinking about it. But so the first two things to do is organize those receipts, and then either do a spreadsheet or put your stuff in software so you know where your income and your expenses are. And that leads me to the last and final step, and everybody's going to probably cringe: tax time. But my goal and my passion is to take the chaos out of numbers. I tell my clients that I help them take the chaos out of numbers, and I make those numbers sexy. And I mean it. They don't have to be full of chaos. And one of the first two ways to do that is what I just discussed. And in the process, many entrepreneurs especially, at the end of the year, they despise taxes. They're worried about if they have all their information together, if they have all their deductions. If you're in the U.S., you're trying to figure out if you're supposed to do a 1099 or not. Do you owe money for the business, etc.? Well, the first two ways to organize yourself so you don't have all that chaos at the end of the year is what I just went over, these last two steps. The last thing that you can do to help at tax time is, once you go and set up that last account, that bank account, I want you to turn around. I want you to go open another one. It could be a savings account, but go open it. And then nickname it. You know how all the bank accounts can be nicknamed now. Nickname it tax account. That's what mine's called. Mine's called tax account. And what I suggest and what I tell my clients to do is either do it every time you get paid. If you can't make yourself not spend the money or do anything with it, except on a couple of times. I do the 10th and the 25th of the month, but that's the way I have mine set up. Excuse me. So either once a month, twice a month, every time you get paid, take 15% and put it into that account. Now, if because of your expenses and all, you can't do 15% at first, I get that. I wasn't able to at first. I had to sucker up and do only 5% at first. I've gradually increased it because that way I know I have money in my tax account. And that does two things. One, it gets you in the habit of putting it in there. Two, it separates it from all of your other business money. You're basically saying you were for taxes and you're putting it away. Out of sight, out of mind. And three, come tax time, at the end of the year when your business has exploded and you've made $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 and or 50,000 or 100,000, whichever, but your business has netted that and you prepared your taxes and now you have to pay income tax on that money to the tax man because your business made money. You're not sitting here going, oh shit, where does that money come from? What am I going to do? It's already put up. It's put in a tax account separate because you haven't touched it. You moved it, you put it there, and you didn't touch it. You allocated this much money for your taxes, and you left it there. And if you don't do anything else, those three things would be the things to do. Set you up a separate bank business account, then go set up a savings account or checking account, whichever, and allocate so much money to taxes. Don't touch it. Put it in there and don't touch it. And then organize your expenses and your your software with your receipts and all. I promise, I pretty much guarantee that if you were to do those things, when you get it all done and set up, the stress will melt away. And as always, I'm an open book. I've been there. I know how stressful it can be starting a business and not knowing, how to separate the funds at first and what's the best way to handle it. I've done it. I help my clients now with it because I understand how hard it can be. I help my clients understand the importance of the receipts, and I let them know what different types of tax deductions they can make. There is no quote unquote list for everybody and anybody. I mean, there's the general rule, but depending on your business, depends on, you may be able to write off certain things and some other business may not. So it depends on the type of business. So there's not one set rule when it comes to that. The one biggest rule I can tell you, if it's 100% for your business, you're utilizing it for your business and no personal at all, then you can count it as a business expense and it can be deducted. That's the general guideline, so to speak. But I promise, if you do those things, you'll have less chaos, and you won't have chaos in your numbers, and you'll be able to start actually seeing your numbers, and you'll be able to focus on growing your business because you'll know what's going on with your numbers. I hope I provided some good information for you and helped you out a little bit and gave you some insight as to how you can make your numbers less chaotic. I would love for y'all to come and join my group and be able to get some more tips. You can come to my Facebook group. It's called Financially Balanced. I'd love to have you over there. And of course, if you have any questions, please put them in the area that Megan's going to set up for everybody, and ask away. I'm an open book, and I will answer any questions I can answer. If I don't know the answer, I don't mind going and checking and finding out the answer and responding back to you. That's what I love to do. So I'm here if you have any questions or if you need anything, and I look forward to seeing y'all in my group and talking to y'all if y'all need anything else. Talk to you later. Bye.